Welcome back to another solo episode of The Aftermath, where we explore different elements of healing and get into the real nitty-gritty on how to turn pain into power. Today, we're going to be exploring the theme of sitting with your discomfort and why it is so important to your growth and your emotional well-being and resilience. So, what is discomfort and why do we avoid it? If you're on a healing journey, I'm going to level with you. You definitely are probably intimately familiar with what discomfort is, right? Anything that just gives you that ick, makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel squeamish, and like you want to get out of there, right? Why do we avoid it? Because it is uncomfortable. Discomfort is discomfort. It is something that makes us feel not at peace, right? Not excited, not in a state of highest joy, right? It makes us feel icky, and we want to get away from things that make us feel icky. What's funny about the concept of sitting with your discomfort is I think sometimes we think on our healing journey when we hear that, oh, sitting with discomfort, that means that we need to bask in it or revel in it or just stew. And that is not what sitting with discomfort means. Sitting with discomfort is actually the quickest way to get out of that state of discomfort. I like to think about it like, say, for example, you're going on a walk, you're in a hike. If you're like me, you've definitely experienced this before. You're on a hike, you're having a great time, and you get a pebble or a stick in your shoe, right? And it's small, it's little, it's not a big deal. And it's kind of a pain in your ass to sit, take your shoe off, and, try and find this little thing that got in there and dump it out and have to hop on one foot and do the whole dance, right? It's like, oh, it's just a small little rock or small little thing. I'm just going to walk with it. It's not a big deal. But as you walk with this rock and you're going up this mountain, you're enjoying the beautiful nature, you start to realize you can't stop thinking about that little rock in your shoe. And as you continue on walking, trying to avoid the discomfort, avoid the inconvenience of taking off your shoe, that rock starts to rub, right? It starts to rub on your foot, rubbing and pestering at the back of your mind, as you try to avoid it and not think about it and keep going, keep smiling, keep talking if you're with somebody, and just not think until you literally burst and you're like, oh my God, I have to get this off, right? And you rip your shoe off and you dump it out, and now you're angry and you're pissed off, and people are like, whoa, what's her problem? And literally you're just overstimulated and completely done. That is avoiding discomfort, right? That is also what I would consider wallowing in discomfort, because you're actually not acknowledging that you have something wrong and pain and just being like, oh, I think I just got something in my shoe. Let me just knock it out real quick. Instead, it's, okay, like, this is a lot for me to do right now. I'm just gonna pretend it doesn't exist. Pretend it doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm fine now. Pretend it doesn't exist until it explodes, right? And that's why we have all of these explosive tendencies when we're in an emotional situation, right? We're constantly telling ourselves, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Oh, no, it's actually, no, it's okay. Whereas sitting with discomfort really means acknowledging the discomfort immediately when it arises, not later, not in 2 months down the road, but acknowledging it when it rises, being like, oh, I feel unsafe right now. I feel uncomfortable right now. I feel nervous or anxious. Acknowledging it, saying, I see you. You're okay. What are you trying to tell me? Hearing the message from that, and then moving forward with your life, which sounds really simple when you put it like that. But the reality is, as we all know, it's a lot harder to do that. And I really believe it's harder to do that because we are naturally wired to avoid pain until it is unavoidable, right? It's like, oh, like that rock, it's not a big deal. It's not really painful until it is, until there's now a blister forming on my foot, until I'm overstimulated and I can't think about anything else but this stupid rock in my shoe. The reality of sitting with your discomfort and embracing discomfort is that you're going to be able to learn lessons and grow on such an accelerated level if you can sit and acknowledge your pain, acknowledge your discomfort when it happens, and not let it fester and grow into an explosion. When you can fully embrace discomfort and acknowledge it as a messenger that something is out of alignment, you are going to be so much more able to live in your authenticity, right? Which is the goal. I'm definitely going to be sounding repetitive on a lot of these episodes and, beating a dead horse per se, but the goal is authenticity. Authenticity is the highest frequency above love, above compassion, above peace. It is authenticity. So embracing the moments that you feel uncomfortable or angry or jealous or overwhelmed is a high frequency. Acknowledging it, sitting with it, saying, okay, what is this trying to tell me? It's going to bring you so much closer to yourself, to your higher power, if you believe in a higher power, to your guides, to your God, to the collective, whatever it is. Because you are able to fully embrace your shadow, your light, and your dark, and become a whole person. Sitting with discomfort, I used to think was a strength of mine because I was so good at sitting with other people's discomfort. When someone else could come into my life and, they were going through a hard time, I would be like, no, I'm here for you. I will sit with you and you can just cry into my lap and just like give it to me. And that was really, again, my savior complex coming out, me trying to help and be a safe space and was on some levels good practice and I'm sure helpful to some people. But the reality was I thought that if I was good at sitting with others' discomfort, that meant I was good at sitting with my own. And that just wasn't the case. This topic is actually something that I have been working on a lot in the last year, especially. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am not perfect at it. In fact, just as early as literally this week, I had to put off recording this episode and delay coming out for a week because I was struggling with sitting in my discomfort. And I knew that I wanted to record this episode, but I knew I could not record this episode until I confronted my own personal demons and sat with what I needed to sit with, because I can't come on here and talk about sitting with discomfort when I'm literally avoiding my own internal work. That is savior complex. That is what I have worked so hard to push away. And my number one goal with this podcast is to be an authentic, real voice, not somebody who is acting like they have it all figured out or they know what's going on, but somebody who can sit with you, relate to you, and be authentic with where they are in their journey. And I just knew I couldn't do that if I wasn't being authentic with myself first. And so here we are, right? Just a little bit about what this last year has entailed for me in terms of discomfort. At the beginning of the year, I prayed to the universe and I said, hey, whatever does not serve me in my life, please take it away from me. Which, bold prayer. Don't do that unless you're absolutely ready. The universe said, okay, bet, and literally took everything from me. Literally everything. My business, my friends, my apartment, my car, my job, my city. Literally, I moved across the world, not even the country, moved from LA to Europe with little to no money and was forced into a position where I could do nothing but sit with my discomfort. And this year has been an absolute crash course in pushing me out of my comfort zone and teaching me really how to be authentic and show up and be real with myself, because it's really hard to avoid your inner work when you are completely isolated by yourself in a different country where you don't always speak the language. Sitting with my discomfort has taught me that your inner demon, your shadow, is your best friend. They literally want nothing but success for you, and they are doing everything they can to give you messages and help you in the way that they know how, right? When you're coming from a place of extreme trauma, you had to develop coping methods. You had to develop a way to protect yourself in these traumatic environments. So for me, a big part of sitting with my discomfort this year has been addressing old coping mechanisms and literally just sitting with them and thanking them and being like, hey, I hear you. You feel like this situation is reflective of the situation that I had growing up. And you feel unsafe right now. And so you are doing everything that you can to keep me from being hurt again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for looking out for me. Thank you so much for caring for me and wanting me to be safe. I appreciate you so much. This situation is not the same. And we are now grown up. We are capable of changing the narrative. So as much as I appreciate your response, your trigger, I actually don't need this anymore because I am standing up for myself. I am protecting myself. And you can release that discomfort with love, with gratitude. And what that also creates is extreme inner safety. I cannot tell you how much more peace I have in my life from listening to my fears, listening to my anxiety, listening to my depression. It is at a point where now when I have something uncomfortable flare up, I am almost to the point where my first instinct is to immediately stop and pause and be like, wait, before I go further, before I push through, what are these feelings trying to tell me? It's not quite second nature for me. We're getting there, okay? Sometimes I still struggle. I literally this week was fighting it. I was just like, I don't want to. I just want to get things done. I need to get this episode out. And I really had to sit with that and be like, okay, why am I operating from a place of lack, of freak out? And, for me, it came from this space of, okay, not having enough, this scarcity place of like, oh, well, you weren't given enough. And so you always have to push if you want to have enough. That's not my reality anymore. I am building a reality for myself where I always have enough. And I always have enough time, and I always have enough rest, and I always have enough content, and I just always have enough. And if things take a little bit more time, that's okay too, because the quality of whatever I am putting out, the quality of the conversation I'm having with you is better. That is what matters. Because I genuinely believe that we are all mind readers, even if we can't, pick up on the exact words that somebody might be thinking in their head. You can pick up on energies. And if I was coming to you unable to sit with my discomfort and talking about this, I genuinely believe you would be able to tell if I wasn't doing it on my own. And you would not want to listen to me. And you would be like, well, fuck her. Who is she? The only reason that anything that I say could potentially resonate with you is because I'm coming from a place of genuine care and compassion and understanding. Another way that sitting with my discomfort has impacted my life is my self-talk. Because I am now able to sit with myself and have a conversation with my triggers, with my anxiety, stress, with my discomfort, my self-talk has gotten so much kinder. I used to beat myself up. And I was literally reflecting on this the other day, working through this discomfort. And I was like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud that I stopped, that I took my time, that I prioritized myself, that I make myself feel safe first. I make myself feel safe before I provide a safe space for others. And I love how I talk to myself. My brain is so much more quiet. I have so much more capacity. I have so much more time because I am not constantly beating myself up. I'm in a space where I can be so much more creative. I'm in a space where I can receive so many more clear messages. I don't think it ever necessarily gets comfortable, but then again, maybe it does. I don't know, but I'm not there yet. But it does get easier. And as you begin to build up your tolerance for sitting with discomfort in little ways, which we'll talk about, you are able to tackle on bigger and bigger things, tackle on bigger and bigger limiting beliefs. Sometimes it can be exhausting. I'm going to be real with you. It's exhausting sometimes. Like, it's really annoying when it's like, again, are you for real? But afterwards, the emotional peace, relaxation, high, whatever you want to call it, that you feel, it is bliss. It is bliss when you create a safe space for yourself within your mind. So what are some practical things that you can use to work on your discomfort muscle? Because that's all these are, right? All of the elements or themes of healing that we discuss on these podcasts are just different muscles. And little ways, besides getting triggered, of working on your discomfort is to literally do things that make you uncomfortable. So getting out of your comfort zone, meeting new people, taking cold showers. One of my favorites is taking cold showers. And I know this sounds hilarious, but I think the best part about a cold shower is not all the amazing physical health elements, but actually the mental battle. You telling yourself, in order to take a cold shower or to dip into cold water, you have to hype yourself up. I mean, you have to be like, I can do this. I'm amazing. This is good. This is good for me. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And the first few times, it's a lot of a mental effort. I used to literally laugh at people who said that they took cold showers. I'd be like, I will never do that. Why would I purposely subject myself to pain? That's insane. But once I really actually jumped into forcing myself to do things like cold showers, I noticed almost immediately my ability to do other uncomfortable things grew. When I take a cold shower in the morning, it's easier to get my list of to-dos done. When I take a cold shower in the morning, it is easier to get through an emotionally difficult day. It's like I proved to myself once today, at the beginning of my day, that I could do something hard. And so it's just like a reminder. It's like a podcast or an inspirational YouTube where you are reminded, oh, like, you're awesome and you're all hyped up. That's what a cold shower does. It just reminds you that you are capable of sitting with your discomfort, of sitting with your pain and getting through it and being great on the other side. Other great things, practical tips that are kind of universal is stuff like breathing. When you have these triggers, these big feelings come up, breathe. Breathe. Don't try to talk to your feeling immediately. First, just sit with the sensation. That's why meditation is so powerful, right? It teaches you the power of observation, not judging, but literally just observing, recognizing there is a rock in my shoe, acknowledging it, saying it out loud. There is a rock in my shoe. Okay? Saying it out loud. There's a rock in my shoe. Okay. Once we've gotten through that intense moment, that acknowledgement, then we can make a decision about what we want to do. We can make some forward movement. But sitting with it first, acknowledging it first is vital, vital, vital. Another big element that I talk about a lot here is quantum healing. This was something that was really important for me learning to sit with my discomfort because it allowed me a safe environment and space with dedicated time to address whatever was going on that was uncomfortable in my life. And because it is dedicated ceremony and I'm giving myself this like premeditated time, I could really delve in as deep as I want without fear of losing myself, especially because you have somebody who's there with you, making sure that you don't get lost, making sure that you feel supported. And I want to talk about ceremony for a minute. I think it can be a interesting word for some people, but I really see ceremony as any intentional space that you create for yourself that is protected through intention, through physical space, through maybe supportive people, where you set aside time to explore, to sit with elements that are unfamiliar or scary to you. Ceremony can be just sitting in meditation. Ceremony could be sitting with a group of intimately safe friends who are supporting you. Ceremony can look different to different people. My quantum ceremonies look like me leading someone into a deep meditative state where I can guide them through their fields, where they can see or meet their guides, or their alternate versions of themselves, or their inner shadows and lessons that they need to work on, while knowing that someone is outside of them who has been through these same lessons before and is there to support them and guide them so that they don't feel like they are drowning, right? And is there to pull them out if at any point anything gets too overwhelming. And the cool thing is when I'm working with someone else's team and their guides, they actually tell me when you've had enough. I had a session not too long ago with a woman, and I had a structured plan of, what we were going to go into and what she had wanted. And I was going in, and literally her guides were like, nope, she's had enough. And she seemed fine to me, but I was like, oh, she's had enough. And right when I stopped, she got into a place where she had her emotional release and her exhaustion started to show. And I was like, oh, great. So your team knows the cutoff and is able to communicate that to healers like me. I invite you this next week to really focus on adding discomfort into your daily routine somehow, whether that is learning a new skill, journaling, short meditations, nothing crazy, cold showers, anything. Introduce something into your daily routine that is a little bit uncomfortable for you and just observe. See how you feel after following through with it 1 week. See if there are any noticeable changes for you. And once you've done that, I would love to hear you. Or if you're struggling with discomfort now and you're struggling with finding a way to sit with it and acknowledge it and work through it, or if you need some help, reach out. I love hearing your feedback. what you're going through and helping wherever I can. If you've been listening or you follow me on Instagram, you also know that I offer personal quantum healing ceremonies where I can guide you and help you to confront these uncomfortable sides of yourself. And some exciting things are coming. I am coming out with some guided meditations that you can use on your own time as often as you like. And I will be posting those very soon. And one of my first ones is going to be all about sitting with discomfort and helping you to take that pause and feel safe within yourself so that you can turn around and talk to the aspects of yourself that you need to talk to. Again, I love hearing from you, so reach out, give feedback. My Instagram for the podcast is at the.aftermath.podcast. For my personal account, it is at Emerald Order Priestess. And I would be honored to hear any thoughts that you have about this episode, about previous episodes, or about episodes that you would like to hear in the future. I also want to announce that for the foreseeable future, the Aftermath is going to be moving to an every other week episode schedule. This is because right now I am a one-woman show, and I just want to make sure that I have the time to really put in the effort and the time that these episodes deserve, because I want to make sure that I'm giving you everything that you need and not pushing it in a rushed way. That said, in our next episode, we have an incredible, incredible guest who I'm excited to share with you. And we're going to be talking all about the power of the pause, which just goes so well with today's episode. So don't miss out. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you feel encouraged and ready for this next season. And I'll catch you on the next episode.